So I was sitting here, doing some research on the computer, looking up, different stuff about politics and, just researching, looking up a bunch of articles. And I was thinking like, damn, like, why is it that everything the Democrats touch, they ruin it? Like everything they touch just goes to crap. Right. And, think about it. Just things like, video games, movies, comedy, dating, sports, education, everything that they've touched, they've influenced has gone to crap. Right. Where people just got to a point where they're just pissed off about everything. Like, for example, right. Video games, right? And I don't play video games that, anymore. Like, obviously, you got a lot of responsibility, you got things to do. You don't have time for that, right? But, the time where I was playing video games, it's just a great way to, get a release, right? Just to, take your mind off a lot of things. But the time when I was playing video games, the one game that was really good was The Last of Us, right? Right, they came out with a TV series. One of the best games I've ever played. That's one of like my top 5 games out there. It's just it was an amazing game. Part 1, anyways. And I remember playing. I think because it came out in like 2013, and I remember playing that game, finishing that game, and I was like, wow, it's one of the best games I played. And then of course I was like, all right, hopefully they come out with a part 2. And of course part 2 came out in 2020. I remember before it came out, you hear a bunch of reviews. People do reviews about it, the videos. You go on, you go on like websites and they talk about it. And I started hearing more about how things are getting woke. And I'll be honest with you, like at the time, like especially I've been a Democrat, ever since I left them in 2015, 2016. But the whole wokeness and everything that was going on, I didn't really hear much about it at that time. Maybe because I was a liberal at the time, but I remember leading up to 2020, you hear more and more about it. And I think for me, it was like when I heard people talking about that video game, The Last of Us, and they was talking about, how, they killed Joel off, the 2 main characters now like lesbians and just LGBTQ. I was just like, why would you do that? And everybody was just tearing it up. So much so I didn't even play the video game. I didn't play it, right? And right, so I heard, I heard it wasn't too bad, but I was just like, I'm not gonna play with it. And of course, even the show, when the show came out, part 1 came out, that was a good show. Like part 1 was good. But then of course part 2 came out and I watched that and that was terrible. It was horrible. You saw how they killed off Joel, and then you talking about the whole lesbian scene, like where I forgot her name is, Elle was talking about how she's going to be a dad. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You're going to be a dad. And if they come out with a part 3, I'm not watching that because I'm done with that. But you can see what they did to the video games. I was like, why did they just destroy this video game? And then you can see, and I'm pretty sure that kind of led me up to, because I think part 2 came out in 2020. I'm pretty sure that helped lead me to also vote a Republican for the first time ever. And you just, from there, you just see how much they destroyed everything. Right. And then you look at movies, right? Movies. I don't even watch movies. I don't go to the movie theater because the movies just aren't that good anymore because they try to make everything about wokeness. Right. And look, I'm all for diversity. Right. I'm all for diversity and whatever you want to do, but you got to make sure it's good. Right. You can't just be like, oh, let's get a black person in there because they're black, or let's get a woman in there because they're a woman. Let's get a gay person in there because they're gay. No, you put these people in because they're actually good. They're going to make the product good. I couldn't care less what they are as long as they're good at what they do. But you see that when you insert all these things and you see the quality, it's just not good. Right? You look at these movies; they're unoriginal. The quality is no good, and pretty much they destroy that. I'm sure they got some good movies out there, but mostly it's just the same rehash stuff, and it's just plain garbage. Right? Everything is trying to be diverse. Look at comedy, like comedians are afraid to say the things that they want to say, right? Like comedy is pretty much gone because everything is so, everyone gets offended. Everyone has to be politically correct. It's destroyed that. And then you're talking about dating, like my gosh, like if you're dating a liberal woman, like you got to worry about the purple hair, the nose, the septum rings, the tattoos all over the place. It's like they've destroyed that, and like you see that like dating in this country is just like, you hear so many people complaining like what the quality of people that are out there, especially for women, is just like nobody wants to date these type of women, right? You want to find a nice conservative woman if you can, but it's just dating is even more difficult now, right? The whole sexual liberation is like, all right, I got to choose from this. All right, cool. It's like, no, I don't want to deal with that, right? Yeah, I'll sleep with you, but that's pretty much it. Like, I'm not going to wife you up, okay? And you look at sports. Sports is is political now, right? But if you're gonna watch sports, like you don't want to go watch sports and have to deal with politics, right? You do that to to get you watch sports to get away from things. But now they've inserted politics in that, and they've found a way to divide the country with sports. Okay, like that's gone down. It's like everything that the liberals, when they touch it, when they get their hands on these things, and they try to control everything through politics, it just reduces the quality, because of they want to make everything DEI, diverse, and you want to make everything inclusive, instead of just worrying about the quality of the product. Which is the most important thing. Okay, everything else will work out itself. Right? That's what people want to do. They want to see quality. Want to be entertained. Right? Okay. And then you look at, of course, education. Education is terrible, where you don't know what's being taught to your kids. Being indoctrinated with all this liberal wokeness. Like for me personally, like whenever I get to start a family, like I'm really gonna be thinking hard about homeschooling them, right? Unless I can find a really good school that that I know is gonna instill values of my children. But more than likely, like the best person to instill those values are obviously the parents, right? So why not do that? It's the way it used to be done back in the days, until we used to just fed our kids to the school system, where they have control of what's being taught to your kids, right? So I think and look at the list is long. Like there's a list of a whole bunch of things that you could talk about. Democrats, liberals have destroyed that. It's just like you've made the standard of living for everyone just worse. Okay, because of your stupid policies, your dumb ideologies, right? Like lack of common sense, and I think for a lot of people, like you're just tired of it. Like you just want to go back to normal. But of course, normal is we're far away from what's normal these days. And it is like you when you really open up and you see it, it's just like, man, they've really destroyed everything they touch. They just destroy. Like you don't want their hands on any of these things. Like get away from it. Like and I think more and more people are starting to see that, open their eyes to the things that Democrats, their policies just don't work. And you want to, and obviously a huge indicator would be the midterms, right? If Republicans could keep the House and the Senate, then that's going to be a huge indicator of like where things are going in terms of like how Democrats are they've just gone so far that people just said, you know what, you guys, you have no idea what you guys are doing. All right. So yeah, so those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure you leave a comment down below with the like button and share. And if you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe. So guys, take care. Have a good one. Later.